Click on the hide here. Yeah,
So
that's it. Great.
where is the presentation? So this is what our 45 minutes will look like. Okay. So have you done the exercise? Who your customers are? Everyone? Okay. So if you look at the word customer in Hindi, if you say customer gives you the maximum cost, right? So the customers are the most difficult people to deal with in our organization, in a business, anywhere. Do you agree with me on this? So then who are your customers? Who are your customers? Can someone share? Who are your customers? Do not give me the names of your customer, but who are your customers?
The customers who gives business for us.
The customer who gives business for you. Any other answer? Any other answer? Scratch your brains. Any other answer?
Anyone who has a need for the product or service I'm selling.
Anyone who has a need for the product that you are selling. Okay. It could be a product or it could be a service, right? You agree with me? So that is one. Anyone who has a need, anyone who does business with you. Very good. Now, if I ask you a question, how many?
Customers for us also.
Sorry? The others, can you please put yourself on mute?
Problems also.
I didn't get that. Your voice is breaking. Okay.
This, we will solve the customers' problems also.
Okay, we should solve our customer's problem, very right. That we look at a little later. Now let me ask you another question. How many types of customers are there in your organization? How many types of customer? In your business, in your organization, or how many types of customer are you aware of?
So Rekha says 2 types.
I cannot see that screen.
On the no, don't worry. I will because you will not be able to.
Okay, so Rekha, what are the 2 types?
Internal and external.
Okay, Rekha says internal and external. Anyone else has a answer to it?
Vinith says direct and indirect.
Direct, indirect. So you have internal, external, direct, indirect. Any other answer? It's tricky, right?
Right, quite.
Yeah.
Quite
Okay. So while Rekha said internal and external, just to give you a background, internal is when in an organization, let's say if you are in the HR department, you are a customer to operations, or IT department, customer to operations. So that kind of a internal customer relationship. For today's session, we will keep that kind of a relationship for outside for a moment. And we will look at direct paying customers, okay? Customers who does business with you, like someone said. And that is your external customer. Everyone fine with that? Okay. And we had another answer, direct and indirect. So what is direct customer, what is indirect customer? Someone who directly buys from you, let's say you're going in an airline. On the airline, you're flying from point A to point B. When you get on the plane, you are served a delicious meal on the flight. So who is the direct customer, who is the indirect customer here? So the passenger who pays the airline a fare to fly on that is a direct customer. Now for the catering department, let's say the Taj Catering, who's catering to for some of the planes, for them, that passenger becomes an indirect customer or an end customer, because for them the customer is the airline. So do you understand the connection now? So you have a direct customer and you have an end customer. Let me ask you a question. Is an end customer important for you?
Yes.
It is important. And if you draw the value chain, if the end customer is not happy, is not satisfied, your business is going to get affected. So if the meal on that plane is bad and you didn't like that meal, you didn't enjoy that plane, the flight, you automatically will choose another airline, even though the meal is not booked by that particular airline. So that's the difference. Now this is one aspect of it. Now let me give you other different types of customers that we have to pay attention to, because our topic today is customer focused excellence. And if you are customer focused excellent organization, then of course you need to look at your direct customers, your indirect customers. Can you please switch that off? Someone is, can you mute yourself so that I can talk?
Yeah, can you please go on mute, please? Because there's a lot of disturbance in the background. Abhay? Yeah.
Thank you. So we will look at now, we'll discover some more types of customer. Probably you may have heard or not heard about them. And when I'm looking at an organization that pays attention to customer focused excellence, we need to focus on these types of customers also. And I will give you a clue about what that customer is. Those types of customers are, for example, first clue is present or current customer. The customers that you have today with you, who are dealing with you today, they're your current customers, they're your present customer. You all agree with me on that? Then, if they are your present or your current customer, what are the other types of customers that you have encountered or you need to encounter with? Any answers?
Potential customers.
Potential customer, very good. Potential customer. Anyone? So who's a potential customer? A customer who is not your customer today, who is not paying you for your services or product today, but can be a customer in the future. I'll give you an example of a potential customer. Okay, before that, if I go to a school, who's the customer? Any idea? In a school, who's the customer?
The kid,
Yes, the student is a customer, but we say up to grade 8, the parent becomes the primary customer because the student cannot take decision by himself or herself. After grade 8, then they become the direct customer. So yes, students are customer and parents when they start with. So if I have a sibling in the school, in my house, and if I'm satisfied with the school that I'm sending my child to, what would I do? My sibling, my second kid would be a potential customer to that particular school. You're getting understanding the difference between what is a potential customer and a current customer.
Right.
So now, we have done with current customer and we are done with potential customer. Let's look at other types. Anyone else?
Impulsive customer.
Sorry?
Impulsive customer. Impulsive.
Impulsive customer is still a current customer, right? I mean, they may be, they may have an irate behavior, or they may run into you. Like I told you in the beginning, the customers have to give the cust, right? So, what are the other types? So you've done with current or present customer, you are done with potential customer. Any other type? So that will bring out another category of customer called as past customer. For example, if I'm again taking the example of a school, if that school only has up to the 10th grade, the student has to move to another institution, right? So the student now becomes a past pupil or a past customer. So that's the past customer that we need to be aware of, and we need to understand them. What are the other types of customer? Not clear, not clear. Can you translate that? I mean,
Yeah, Thomas, we could not understand. You need to type it out so that I can. I think a person or a customer who doesn't know that he needs the product.
okay, that's a potential customer, but you can always go and convince them. Like for example, in an insurance business, I don't know if anyone from insurance here, what would they do? They would go and look at potential customers and convince them, look, you need this particular policy or this particular scheme to get into, to protect your family and so on. So you can put it under the potential customer.
Right.
So we have done potential.
There are a couple of them. Santosh is saying discount customer, and Thomas is saying customer through reference.
Discount customer is again your present customer or your current customer who is asking you for discounts.
Someone who is someone else's customer.
Very good, very good.
Your customer.
Very good. So customers of competitors, your competitors. So that's another type that you need to be interested in. Otherwise, you will lose your business to someone else. So what is that your competitor doing better than you? So we have seen current or potential, current and present customer. We have seen potential customer. We have seen past customer. And we have seen customer of competitors. Anyone else? I'll take one more and then we'll go ahead from this topic. Because it's a good discovery to know who your customers are.
So customers to referrals, or maybe does that come under potential customers?
That will come under the potential, and then potential converts to your current or present customer.
The prospects customer.
Prospect
New
is
customer,
potential.
yeah.
Potential, no? Potential, prospective. Okay, I'll give you the answer. Maybe you have not thought about it in that direction. What about lost customers? Customers you have lost, that means you were servicing them and they have left you because of your incapability or because of your unsatisfying service or product. That's another category of customer. So organizations that focuses,
Aren't they the past customers?
see, who's a past customer? Someone who doesn't need your service anymore. For example, if you are into manufacturing of kids' products and you have a customer A who's a kid, and that kid has bought your products and now that kid becomes a teenager or an adult, he's a past customer. But he's not a lost customer. He did not exit you because of dissatisfaction or because he didn't like your product or service. Are you getting?
Right.
So there's a thin line of difference, but there is a big difference between the two. And excellent organizations like the Tatas and Wipros and very big organizations, they have focused on all of these types of customers. And to understand basically why are they your customers, why are they not your customers, or why they can be your customer in the future. So it's important to understand who are your customers. And to add to all of this, today, the new generation, they say also, Mother Earth is also your customer. And if you don't take care of that customer, you know what you get now. So we move from there to the definition of a customer. The actual or potential user of your organization's products, programs, or services. Anyone. The customers include end users. I gave you the example of an end user, as well as others who are immediate purchasers or users, such as distributor, agents, or organization that process your product as a component of theirs. So they may be making parts, spare parts for you, but they are also your customer. Okay. Another very interesting focus on customer is, do you know there is a difference between a customer who is a customer of a product like a washing machine or a computer versus a customer who is a customer of your services? For example, a hotel reservation. There's a big difference between the two. And the services sector, it's more tougher to handle as a customer. I'll tell you the reason why. The customer who is a customer of a product, you only see the product once a product is manufactured and everything is done and it comes to your home. You don't know what's happening at the background. So you will only see the end product. But when you look at service sector, let's say a check-in at a hotel, the customer is a part of that particular service. Right from the booking, to the way you're greeted at the hotel, to the way the reception desk handles your check-in services, to the way your first sight in the room in which you're going to check in, to the way you experience your in-house or in-room dining or whatever, and the checkout. The entire cycle, life cycle of the product or the service, the customer has experienced the moment of truth. And that is more difficult than a customer of a product. I don't know if you agree with me on that. If you understood the difference between the two types of customer, the two broad types of customer. One is customer of product, customer of service. So in a customer of product, they only see the end product. They do not know what is happening behind, who has made it, whether it is done under good condition, whether it is made under right temperature, etc., etc. All of that is not seen. The customer only sees the final product, and then if the product is good or bad, the customer decides that. But in service, no. They are a part of the entire process, the cycle. And therefore, service sectors have to be even more conscious in this customer excellence or customer focus. Because right from the time you're able to book your reservation, for example, on the computer, the ease at which you can book your reservation, for example, all of that matters when they give you the feedback. All of that matters in customer excellence. This is another question. Do you listen to your customers and determine the products and services to meet their needs? How often do you go and meet your customer? They say customer is the king. How often do you go and meet your king? By the way, let me ask you a question. Who pays your salary if you're working for an organization? Any answer?
My customer.
Customer, not your employer.
They
So-
are just the keepers.
They're just the keepers, right? So now how do you listen to your customer? There is a terminology called the voice of customer. I'll come back to that later. It's also called as VOC. But there is an interesting example here that I want to share of the chairman of Hindustan Labours. How would he listen to his customer? Every third Thursday of the month, his diary or calendar is blocked. You can't get an appointment with him. And what does he do? He goes out onto the main road, onto the streets, goes to those shops that sells his soaps and whatever products that Hindustan Levers are making, and interacts with them and asks them, okay, how many of my soaps or my products have gone? What are the complaints that are coming from your customers? And listens to them and brings it back to the organization and calls his second in command and gives them an action point for the month. And then he reviews it and says, okay, these are the action points that I have gathered from the marketplace about my customer, and these were what you're supposed to do to improve your customer engagement. What have you done? He reviews them. Leadership in customer excellence is very, very important. Do you, as an organization, listen to your customer? So you have to find various ways of listening to your customer. You have to be proactive in listening to the customer and innovative in listening to the customer. You must have heard of a feedback form being given when you're out of the check out of a hospital, or you've flown on an airplane, or you've gone and dined in a restaurant. What do you do with that? You just take good, bad, ugly and give it back to them. I'm not saying that feedback is not good. That feedback system is good, but that is very stereotyped. On a scale of 0 to 10, give me what is my rating. Very stereotyped. You have to be proactive, which means, can I go and ask the customer, how were you greeted before you entered the hotel? What was your experience when you did the booking online to travel in the plane? You've got to be proactive and asking your customer every detail in the life cycle of your product. And you've got to be innovative. I remember back in the 80s when you had this Kali Pili taxis. I don't know if all of you from Mumbai, from outside. We had those black and white, black and yellow taxis which used to run. Today you have Meru and Ola and Uber and all of them taken over. But in the 80s, in one of the prominent hospitals in Mumbai, how would they take feedback or the voice of customer from their customer? Who's their customer? The patient. Now, can I go and ask the patient who just come out of an operation theater or come out of a particular disease, punctured the entire body with all possible needles, can I ask them, give me a score on a scale of 0 to 10? No, that's not the right mode. Can I go ask the relatives who are accompanying them, what is your feedback about the hospital? May be right, may not be right. This hospital did a very innovative technique. They went down and asked the taxiwalas, the driver who would ferry them from the hospital to their residences. What did you hear from them while they were commuting from their hospital to their residence? They pay attention. Every taxiwala pays attention to what the passengers are talking. So be careful there. So they were the ones who gave input to the hospital on the voice of customer. What does the customer feel about the hospital? You've got to be proactive. You've got to be continuously innovative to capture stated, unstated, and anticipated customer requirements, expectations, and desires. I remember when I was working in Air France back in the 90s, we used to go to Paris very often for a training. I happened to go to Euro Disney. It's something that I learned from there. In a day, on a weekend, you have about 1 lakh of cars coming in and into the particular Euro Disney's organization, and everyone has their fun, they enjoy all of that, and in the evening they go back home. In how many minutes do you think, and how many hours, and how much time do you think they found the car at the end of the day from where they are parked in the morning? And you know, the numbers could be 100,000 people who are attending that particular, they come on the weekend to enjoy. How much time do you think they take to retrieve their car? Any guesses?
Half an hour.
Okay, any other number? Any other number? Okay, flat 7 minutes. And how was it possible back in the 90s? Because they looked at the future. They expanded the place. They put various tracking devices to track those cars much in advance. They don't wait like, sadly, our government, where you wait for the population to grow and then you have a road coming in between the buildings. They don't wait for it. You think ahead, be proactive, be innovative. And that's what the customer needs. Now, how do you know what the customer wants? And most of us know this very basic things. You need to understand their needs or requirements, and requirements can be stated or unstated. Do you know the difference between stated and unstated? Simple example, you go to have a cup of tea in a restaurant, and you ask for a cup of tea. But do you tell them, I need a hot cup of tea? Or do you tell them, I need a clean cup of tea? Do you tell them, I need a hygienic presentation on the cup of tea? No, absolutely no. But what is stated is, I need a cup of tea. Maybe you might say you need with sugar or without sugar. That may be stated. So understand the difference between stated and unstated. So when I'm looking at listening to customer, I need to understand what their stated needs and unstated needs are. Stated requirements and unstated requirements, both of them need to be captured continuously. And once you have them, the next thing that you need to do is convert those needs into processes to meet those needs. But you don't stop there. You don't just meet their needs and requirements. If you just meet their needs and sleep over it, you will be like the Nokia. All of us back in 90s had a very fat Nokia phone, and most of us had that sturdy phone, and everybody used those Nokia phones, and everybody loved it. But what happens? What happened 10 years down after this was launched? Nokia did not listen to the needs of the customer. Nokia did not look at proactive needs. Nokia did not innovate. They are trying now. And so came in Samsung, LG, and all the other players, Motorola, and all the other players. Same thing happened with BlackBerry. We need to be continuously looking at the needs of the customer for the future. What is the futuristic need? And then keep providing them the same. So therefore, customer need analysis is most important. Another way to look at your customer is, how do you segment your customer? Do you look at all the customers that come into your facility and give them a a same kind of a treatment? No, absolutely no. So if I go into a store, a garment store, I may have a kids section, a section for the adults, a section for the ladies. How do you segment your customers? How do you listen to the customer for that particular segment? You all must have seen kids playing with Lego toys. There's an interesting story about Lego toys. When they were manufacturing these toys, the researchers wanted to find out what their customer actually needed. And who's your customer? Kids, babies, kids. 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-olds. They were their customers. So what did they do? They created what they have to create. And they put them in a room and put a camera on them, and they left all the toys and these babies, these kids, into that room and watched their reaction. What did they see? Some of those kids picked up certain colors of toys and they rejected some colors. Some kids picked up certain shapes, they rejected certain shapes. And some kids were chewing on them. Some kids were throwing at each other. So which means we need to also look at the safety aspect of our customer. They did all the study and then they came out with what is the best product for their customer. Do you listen to your customer through that segment? Are you making something for the senior citizens or the ultra senior citizens or the senior citizens? And do you listen to their needs and ask them whether these products will really fit for you? Or to the youth? Or to various gender, male or female? So how do you segment your customer? Very, very important. In a hospital, I can segment my customer as patients in the outpatient department, OPD, patients inpatient, IPD, patients requiring surgeries, and so on. How do you segment your customer? It's important to segment and listen to your customer. Do you frequently engage with your customer? What do you mean by engagement with customer? What is engaging with someone? What does the word engagement mean? Anyone?
Interacting with the customers.
Interacting. Okay. Any other answer?
You're continuously in touch with them in some form or the other, maybe written communication, phone products, whichever way.
Okay. So you wish them on your birthdays, on their birthdays, anniversaries,
Yes.
and go and ask them a hello, etc. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you send them an email or you send them something.
Yeah. Is it important to engage with your customer?
Retaining their constant attention.
Very good. So maintaining their constant attention towards your product. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think engagement is important? Do you think engagement is important?
Yes.
And in the example that I gave you about the chairman of Hindustan Liver, how was his engagement? How was his engagement? Have you heard about this story before? So basically, that is the purest form of engagement. Understanding the customer, understanding their emotions, being a part of them, empathizing with them, being in their shoes and look and then manufacturing your product, and so on and so forth. And let me ask you here a simple question. In an organization, you have sales department, and I'm sure most of you are in the sales department. That's what the caption talked about. What do the sales department do? They engage with the customers, right? And what do you do with that information? What do you do with that information? What information do you carry back to the organization? Is that information flowing into operations, into research and development of the organization, into the leadership of the organization to understand the changing needs of the customer? Do you see the link between sales and the organization? Very important aspect. Sales has to understand the customer to bring it back to the organization. And similarly, there's another category, the front facing. Today we call doctors and nurses are on the front line fighting corona. Similarly, there are front facing people in your organization where there are no sales. Can you give me examples? Can you give me examples of front facing workforce in your organization? In any organization?
Sales,
Okay.
I can think through.
Yeah, sales is one, of course. Other than
Customer
sales,
service.
customer, you have your customer feedback, or customer service desk, yes. And teachers, for example, they are directly facing the customer. They are with the customer. Nurses, in a hospital, nurses and ward boys and this thing, they are the ones who are directly facing the customer. Do you listen to them, of the needs of the customer? You see, the entire equation changes when you look at it from these angles. How?
Amay has mentioned cabin crews as well.
Cabin crews as well, because they are the ones who are directly talking to the passenger. But no one really takes the views of the cabin crew. No one really takes the views of the teacher. No one really takes the views of the nurses or the ward boy, or the front or the customer front desk facing people. No one really bothers about them. They are the ones who have the treasure of information that can innovate your product or services for the customers. Do you agree with me on this? So we need to find various ways to build a relationship with the customer. And why do we need to build a relationship? To improve loyalty and retention. Very important. We need to retain customers and we need to increase the number of customers at the same time. So therefore, this relationship has to be improved over a period of time. The more you engage with your customers, the more they become loyal to your, and they also become someone who is going to talk about your product to the outsiders. They will bring in more customers. And this is what comes out of such an exercise, relationship management. And therefore you can increase your market share and all of that based on it. Another question I have to ask you is, how do you deal with complaints? How do you deal with complaints? Do you get customer complaints? Anyone?
Yes.
And what are the sources of the complaints? What are the sources of these complaints?
Online and offline both.
Okay. Can you give examples of offline?
Through my sales team as well as through someone else. Like this particular customer has spoken to my potential customer, wherein I have gone and ahead and started pitching my product.
Right.
And I have come to know from him that someone has told him that our company is bad.
Right. So, but are we capturing this information? So if I go to a hospital, for example, in today's situation, the person who is actually going to handle the customer would be the security guard outside. and the patients or the customers who are going to vent out their anger or complaint, it will be on the security guard. Are we listening to the security guard standing outside the gate and understanding what the complaints are? Or are we only basing our improvements based on written online complaints that are coming in? Unless something is written, we don't listen to it. That's not the way. We can't stop at that. We have to find out all the ways in which complaints can come in. And once you get the complaints, you've got to resolve it. There has to be a resolution process in your organization. And resolve it quickly. The customers can't wait. Engage with the customers even at the resolution stage. Keep telling them what you are doing about it, and so on and so forth. So it's not like the railways who keeps telling you, yeah, we are sorry, the train is going to come in 10 minutes late, and we keep continuing. There's no meaning of the sorry. I don't know if you have heard about this incident that took place 2 years ago in one of the speed trains in Japan. The driver, the pilot, or the loco pilot, what they call, he left the station 20 seconds earlier than the scheduled time. He never stopped to apologize till the last passenger of the train. He apologized to everyone in that train and to everyone. 20 seconds he left earlier. And we are okay with 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. It's business as usual. And that's how we must deal with customer. We must engage with our customer. So here's a definition of customer engagement. Your customer's investment in or commitment to your brand and product offerings. Remember, the customer is paying money or giving their time for your product or service. And therefore, you've got to honor that. It is based on your ongoing ability to serve their needs ongoing. It's not once in, okay, today we look at, this month we look at customer A, B, and C. No. Ongoing service. They need to feel that they are a part of that organization, and you really value them, and build relationships so that they will continue using your products. That's important, retention. So the characteristics of engaged customer that we were talking about include retention, brand loyalty. You remember back in the 70s and 80s, every house would have a Godrej refrigerator, or a Godrej cupboard, or a Godrej typewriter. Brand loyalty. They wouldn't go to anyone. Then it came to Remington and so on. So that's important. Willingness to make an effort to do business and increase the business with you. Willingness to actively advocate, talk about your product to others, and recommend your brand and product offerings. If your customer is doing this, that means your engagement level is at a very high. So, what are the factors that affects loyalty and retention? Customer value, satisfaction over the course of your customer's experience with your organization. And I would add here, in the life cycle of the product, not just in the guarantee period or warranty period, what you call, in the lifetime till they have used your product. And that's crucial for retaining customers and engaging them for a long term. Your organization's customer relationship management helps build trust, confidence, and loyalty. There are three things that comes out. Your success in recovering from defects, service errors, and mistakes that you make. The security and privacy of customer information, this is very, very, very important. I don't know if you have experienced this. For example, a lot of tuition classes, tutorial classes. They go into schools and collect mobile numbers, email IDs of the students. Some of the schools do sell them. When the parents have given their numbers or email IDs, they expected security and privacy. It's very important to maintain privacy and security of customer information. I'm also a certified lead assessor for ISO 27001, which is Information Security Management Services. So when I do quality, environment, health and safety, I also tell them to add information security. In any organization, it's important to have these 4 aspects which will automatically take care of most of these aspects. Quality ISO 9001, environment ISO 14001, health and safety ISO 45001, and information security ISO 27001. And some of my videos are also available on my YouTube channel. You can check with my name, there are a couple of them. 5 minutes to 7 minutes, just a topic that I put on, and then you can listen to it. Do go through them. Coming back to customer loyalty and retention, your differentiation with your competitors. Remember, one of the types of customer that we spoke about is customer of your competitor. What is your differentiation factor? How are you different from the rest? Are you faster? Are you better? Are you cheaper than them? That's what the customers are looking for. Innovative offerings, combinations of product and service offerings. For example, I buy a product and I give you service for the next 3 years, extend it to 5 years, and so on and so forth. The price is very important. Customized offerings to people, multiple accesses, outward communication mechanisms, how frequently do you communicate, rapid response. People do not want to like to wait for your complaints to be responded to. Special relationship with people, such as participation in alliances. Your customer can also be your partner. Or collaborative networks of organizations that drive efficiency, effectiveness, and innovation.